Okay, hi everybody. I was thinking about making some videos about modes, as I mentioned in an earlier video. Um, Sometimes modes get a bad rep. Um, they're just another way of looking at the guitar, another way of understanding the neck, and another way to give you options to improvise. But there's a lot of misunderstanding about modes or not a full understanding anyways. It's a huge topic. So I'm just going to do a short video to try to sort of get into it, and maybe we'll do a few on this. So the modes are basically seven different ways to play the major scale. So what I mean by that is a major scale has seven notes: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and each of those scale degrees has a certain mode that goes with it. Now, if you know your diatonic series, this will correspond with that. If you don't, I have a video earlier on the diatonic series. You should check it out. But I'm going to assume you know what the diatonic series is. And if not, like I say, check it out. So the one chord in the diatonic series is major. Our first mode, which is the major scale, or sometimes you call it the Ionian mode. Now played out of this position and played through two octaves. And that's do again, and I'm gonna go one farther, just because I can in that position. Right, in terms of fingers, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Notice that the first two strings, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, are the same as the last two strings, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, in terms of fingers, and the middle two strings are the same as each other, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Okay? That is your Ionian mode in this position, which we'll explain in a minute, or your major scale, right, in G. Now, your second mode is really just the major scale played off of the second note in the major scale, in this case A. So if I kept those notes going from here, I'd have, so it's like do, re. So imagine I was starting the scale from re. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And again, I go as high as I can without leaving this position on the neck. So from G, that scale would just sound like a G major scale. Right? We'll stop there for a second because all these seven puzzle pieces, I call them, which is the seven modes, will sort of click together on the neck. So there'll be some overlap between these shapes that I give you, and they click together on the neck. So if I take my Ionian and now my Dorian, we know it's really the same scale. So if I get a G, I can play through those two shapes, right? And it'll work. So, and then that'll go with all seven modes, which we'll get into. But also, you can treat these modes individually. So just like you can use the G major scale over a G major chord, the 2 chord in A minor, or in G major, is A minor. So the Dorian from A, if I treat this as though it's the root, so this is its own independent scale now, over an A minor, right, it is a type of minor scale, Dorian. So I can play those. It also contains our pentatonic, so I can play pentatonic lines, and then use those Dorian notes to add a little color, Okay, that would all sit over an A minor. So this is going to apply to all seven of the modes. They're going to follow that pattern of the diatonic series, which is major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So that was mode 2. Mode 3 would be off the third note in G major scale. Do, re, mi, it's B. So it's the Phrygian scale. finger wise. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1. Wait a minute, I messed up my. So 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, and then it's 1. No. What am I doing? 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 3. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so it's. If I wanted to keep it going, I get my major scale. So, and the Phrygian, if I treat it in and of itself, would also be a minor, because A major, A minor, B minor is in our diatonic series. It gives you kind of a Spanish flavor because of that note, the flat 9. You hear that? It also contains the pentatonic, so you could pentatonic out and then add the Phrygian color notes. Right. The fourth mode is Lydian, and it's second finger, fourth, first, third, fourth, first, third, fourth, first, third, first, second, fourth, first, second, fourth. Notice it's just like a Phrygian scale, but missing the first note that's a half step lower. So if you eliminate this note from the Phrygian scale and just start from C, you have a C Lydian scale. In and of itself, it works over major chords, especially major 7 chords. So we work over C major 7 and have a quite a jazzy sound, you know. Gives you this sound. But it also works great over G major because it's just the fourth mode, the fourth starting point on a G major scale. So if this play the scale all the way down, it's still G major. So I could weave my way through all of these modal shapes so far and still have G major. Fifth mode is Mixolydian. So it goes, in this particular position, it's played second finger, fourth, first, second, fourth, first, second, fourth, first, third, fourth, first, third, fourth, back in the 10th fret, and first, third. Right? It is used over dominant 7th chords if you're going to use it in and of itself. So in this case, it's D, D7 kind of sound. This gives you that very bluesy, jazzy kind of sound. I'm going to move along here. The sixth mode would be E minor, and it's the natural minor scale. So in terms of fingers, from E, first, third, fourth, first, third, fourth, first, third, step out 1, first, second, fourth, step back in, first, second, fourth, first, third, fourth. Okay? So this is the E natural minor scale, or we call it the Aeolian, 6th mode of the G major. Okay? One more, which is your Locrian, goes over the diminished chord, in this case an F sharp, and the fingering for that is, I would start with my first finger there, first, second, fourth, first, second, fourth, first, third, fourth, first, third, fourth, second finger, fourth, first, second, fourth. Notice it's just like the major scale, but with one extra note this time, the half step. So again, those are just 7 puzzle pieces of the G major scale. If I played a G major and I just wove my way down those shapes, you know. Sorry. You know, it's all just G major. They can all be used individually over different kinds of chords. So that can be a little confusing at first, but what I would recommend is just starting to work with just the first like 2 to 3 modes, and I'll show you why. So if you're G major, I'd use my G major scale and my A Dorian scale, which is still G major. Right? And we'll include the Phrygian in third mode. Now, the reason for that is we can use these all over G major, and you can see that your G major pentatonic, played this way anyways, cuts through all those shapes. That just uses, so at any point in that scale you could step out and use one of those modal color tones. And get some pretty interesting lines. But we could also use this over an A minor, treat it as A minor pentatonic, and the Dorian color tones, okay, with me? And then on top of, I grew up playing blues, so I see it this way. On top of a pentatonic, you have this little sort of Stevie Ray Vaughan, Albert King box, little 5-note box. And this is the root in that box. And that's all your, those kind of lines. But you notice how that box, if you flesh it out a bit, is notes from your Phrygian scale. That was Phrygian, bit of pentatonic, pentatonic, Dorian. It'll all work over this. Throw in my G major, well, that won't G major pentatonics, I'm not G, but. So just start with those 3 modes. And then another exercise is to just pick a pair of strings, middle 2 strings maybe, and then just work this note on the G string and a different note from the scale. Taking those 2. I'm going to move up the strings, the frets rather, and I'm just going to take the next note from the scale on each string. And the Dorian, play those 2, which are common to both shapes, and then, right? There it is. Okay, it's just a good way, you can do that any string, so you get, you start to see the shapes, how they connect together and glue together. Like I said, this is a huge topic, and I just thought I'd do a little intro video today. Probably we'll go into it in more depth and break it down into little areas and different ways to use it. Because I really do think this, in combined with knowing your scales and arpeggios and what a lot of people refer to as the caged system, which is super valuable as well, and we can talk about that. And using it all and sticking it all together and being able to see a few layers deep on the neck really helps to give you all your options and so you're not limited. And it's not like any one system by itself is the answer. It's good to combine them all together. So we'll do some more work on this on another video. I hope this was helpful. A good place to start, learn those modal shapes, go through them all. Just learn them as shapes, without any conception about what they are, other than they are all the same. They all stick together. They're all pieces of the same puzzle. And then just try to work through those first 3 modes. Maybe we'll do another video. I'll give you some better examples and a little more in-depth. Okay, so that's a little bit of woodshedding for you, and I hope it's helpful. We'll see you later.